Have you ever felt lost? Like life is moving too fast, and you have no direction? What if I told you that the secret to living a powerful, fulfilling life isn't just in doing more, but in living with wisdom? A maxim is a rule for life, a guiding principle that helps you decide what matters and what doesn't. Without them, life is chaotic. You drift aimlessly, reacting instead of acting. I've lived by maxims for years, and here are the ones that changed my life. The first maxim I ever encountered was at age 14 when I started practicing Jeet Kune Do. At the end of each practice, we would recite a series of maxims. Out of all of them, one stuck with me. Absorb what is useful, and disregard what is useless. Bruce Lee's philosophy was revolutionary. Instead of blindly following one martial art, he stole the best ideas from many disciplines and created his own system. Traditionalists were outraged, but who remembers them today? Bruce Lee is a legend. This principle applies far beyond martial arts. Learn from the best ideas around you: books, mentors, experiences, but filter ruthlessly. Keep only what works. Discard what doesn't. This is the first step to building a life on purpose. Every thought you have is like laying a brick in your brain. Negative thoughts strengthen negative pathways, making it easier to think negatively again. Positive thoughts do the same for optimism. By consciously stopping negative thinking early, I've drastically reduced mental noise. I'm not a super positive person, but I am rarely negative. Nothing good comes from negativity, so why reinforce it? The earlier you control this, the sooner your mind becomes a powerful ally instead of a saboteur. Time is short, and this is something most people ignore. You will die one day. Scary. Yes. Liberating. Absolutely. Imagine you had only 3 months left to live. Would you waste time with toxic friends or boring jobs? Would you scroll endlessly on social media? Probably not. You'd spend more time with people you love, read more, reflect more, and focus on what truly matters. Thinking about your mortality isn't morbid, it's clarifying. It forces you to prioritize your life, to be intentional, and to focus on moments that actually matter. Reality is subjective. You see a rock? I see a rock. That's consensus reality. But your life, it's shaped entirely by the story you tell yourself. You can interpret events positively or negatively. You have the power to frame every experience as either empowering or disempowering. Choose wisely. Your inner dialogue is crucial. Craft a narrative where you are the hero, the champion, the architect of your own life. Don't let others dictate what's real for you. Life is short, make it epic. Heraclitus said it best. Change is the only constant. Suffering, complaints, struggles, they all pass. Endure early hardships. They make you stronger. Compare yourself to others and you will notice they only appear strong because they haven't yet faced the challenges you already have. Pain builds resilience. Nothing lasts forever, not the pain, not the failure, not even success. Time is your most valuable asset, and willpower comes second. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "Nothing is more difficult and therefore more precious than being able to decide." Every day, your brain can only focus deeply for 3 to 4 hours. Don't waste it deciding trivial things like which TV show to watch. Prioritize your energy toward meaningful decisions, career, health, relationships, growth. We all know compound interest builds wealth, but compound experience builds mastery even faster. The more you learn, the faster you learn new things. Knowledge compounds. Skills compound. Insights compound. Einstein once said, "Intuition is built on experience." Start early. Study broadly. Connect the dots others miss. The earlier you compound your skills, the easier life becomes later. Every positive outcome comes from a strong process. Michael Jordan didn't become a legend overnight. Thousands of hours of deliberate practice, refining his technique, and sticking to a routine made him great. My own body transformed because of consistency in diet, sleep, and exercise, and not magic. Identify what works, refine it, stick to it daily. Over time, results are inevitable. Sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term gain. Hustle when others rest. Follow the path least traveled. Success isn't easy, but Those who endure and persist reap extraordinary rewards. Do today what others won't, so that tomorrow you can achieve what others cannot. While others sleep, you push forward. While others take the easy path, you embrace the hard road. The easy life may be comfortable, but the difficult path yields results that are impossible to achieve any other way. The 10th maxim I live by is simple: rise to the work of man. Marcus Aurelius hinted at this in his Meditations. Don't sleep through life. Nature has given humans just enough sleep to function, but not a second more. Bees, horses, and insects fulfill their purpose instinctively. Humans, however, are confused. We spend our lives searching for meaning while lying in bed, scrolling our phones, or binge-watching shows. Your purpose isn't found in comfort, it's found in action, in contribution, in creating something that leaves a mark, even if small. I don't even have an 11th maxim, but life itself offers countless lessons if you pay attention. When I was a teenager, I spent thousands of hours playing video games. I played obsessively League of Legends, Call of Duty, Minecraft, Age of Empires 20 hours a week for 5 or 10 years. That's over 10,000 hours. Enough to master a skill according to Malcolm Gladwell's controversial 10,000-hour rule. And yet, what did I master? Virtual worlds, not real-life skills. Meanwhile, other teenagers were traveling, learning, building friendships, discovering themselves. The video games gave me fun, but in retrospect, I had wasted an enormous chunk of my youth. Then, YouTube came into my life. Casey Neistat, a creator and entrepreneur, showed me a different approach to time. He managed a business, ran marathons, raised a family, and uploaded daily videos. One video hit me hard. He spoke about time management, quoting Seneca, emphasizing that time is our most valuable resource. Casey wasn't happy when he wasn't productive. He structured his day meticulously. 3 hours of exercise, 14 hours of work, 3 hours with family, 4 hours of sleep, 0 free time. Every second was accounted for. Every hour had purpose. I realized how much I had squandered, how many hours of my life I had surrendered to entertainment instead of creation. I began what I call Project Waste No Time. I would wake up, exercise, work 10 hours, walk home, work another 2, and sleep. Every free moment was dedicated to optimizing productivity. And yet, paradoxically, it didn't make me happy. I felt restless, anxious, unsatisfied. The more I tried to squeeze every moment for value, the more time seemed to slip through my fingers. I wasn't living. I was optimizing life like a spreadsheet. Even when I exercised discipline, I was haunted by the idea that I wasn't doing enough. It took me years to realize the irony. The moments I truly cherished were the ones I was trying to optimize. Watching a sunset, walking in a forest, picking olives with my parents. These were the moments I felt alive. The problem wasn't my lack of effort. It was my obsession with efficiency and output. Time isn't a resource to be spent, it's something we are. Life is an experience, not a bank account. Trying to hoard or optimize every second doesn't enrich it. It empties. Italiano. This brings me to a concept that seems counterintuitive. Intentionally wasting time. In many traditions, wasting time is an art. Take Tantric Buddhism, for example. Monks spend hundreds of hours creating intricate sand mandalas, only to destroy them once completed. To an outsider, it seems pointless, even wasteful. But the act itself, its impermanence, its feudalese. The essence, purpose, isn't always about results. Sometimes, simply being, doing nothing, or experiencing without outcome is vital. The modern obsession with efficiency blinds us to this truth. Opportunity cost explains a lot of this. Everything has a cost of doing nothing. When someone offers you a free lunch, the real cost is what you could have done with that hour. Every choice carries trade-offs, sometimes invisible until years later. Muhammad El-Iran, CEO of a $2 trillion bond fund, earned over $100 million per year. He quit to spend time with his 10-year-old daughter after realizing the hours he sacrificed were moments she would never remember with him. Wealth, power, fame, these are all incredible accomplishments, but they come at a cost. The life you damn to get alive. Opportunity cost isn't just economics. It's human reality. Modern society has multiplied our opportunities, but with them comes more opportunity costs. The internet shows us the lives we aren't living. Friends traveling, celebrities achieving, entrepreneurs succeeding. Every choice to focus on one thing forces another thing to fade. We can no longer live unaware of what we're missing. FOMO, fear of missing out is everywhere, driving anxiety, overwork, and dissatisfaction. The paradox is stark. More options should mean more freedom, yet it often leads to less happiness. This is why the lesson of choice is so critical. It's not just about deciding what to do, it's about deciding what not to do. Life is inherently limited. We only have one body, one mind, one life. We can't master everything, do everything, or see everything. The wisdom is in choosing the few things that matter most and dedicating ourselves fully to them. If everything is equally important, nothing truly is. Take the story of the old and young crocodiles. The young crocodile was eager to prove himself, hunting small fish, showing off his success. The old crocodile appeared lazy, doing nothing. And yet, when the ultimate opportunity arose, a massive wildebeest drinking near the river, the old crocodile struck effortlessly, catching the prize without trying, doing less, waiting, observing, mastering. Patience. These are skills often overlooked in a culture obsessed with busyness. Sometimes the results come not from constant motion, but from stillness, focus, and timing. When I built my first company, I was like the young crocodile, constantly moving, working 16 hours a day, believing that productivity equaled results. And yet, the most profound breakthroughs came during moments of stillness. Ideas that arose when I was in tea forcing them. Solutions discovered during quiet reflection. The hard lesson is this. Busyness is not synonymous with success. Activity can be noise. Sometimes, doing nothing allows you to catch the metaphorical wildebeest, while everyone else is exhausted chasing minnows. Even in history, the greatest minds made time for nothing. Bill Gates' Think Weeks, a legendary week-long retreats dedicated to reflection, reading, and thinking. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Ferriss all adopted similar practices. They understood that periods of deliberate pause aren't wasted, they're essential for creativity, strategy, and insight. For those of us who can't retreat for a week, even a digital Sabbath a day, free of phones, screens, and constant input can spark new ideas and provide clarity. It's not about idleness, it's about allowing your mind the space to wander, to connect, to discover what truly matters. By now, it should be clear that the tension between doing and being, between busyness and stillness, is at the core of modern life. We are constantly inundated with stimuli, notifications, expectations, and comparisons. We have been trained to equate our worth with our output, our visibility, and our accumulation of accomplishments. And yet, ironically, those who achieve the most innovators. Creators, thinkers often dedicate significant portions of their lives to doing nothing. They recognize that moments of pause, reflection, and observation are not wasteful. They are productive in a way that metrics cannot measure. The truth about time, opportunity, and life is paradoxical. The more you chase, the more elusive fulfillment becomes. The more you try to control, optimize, and squeeze every second, the faster it seems to slip away. Yet the more you learn to slow down, observe, reflect, and embrace impermanence, the richer life becomes. The art of living is not about maximizing output, but maximizing awareness, presence, and meaning. This doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or abandoning ambition. It means understanding that ambition and stillness are not mutually exclusive. They are complementary. Consider the lessons of opportunity cost. Muhammad Al-Aran chose his daughter over billions of dollars. He made a conscious decision to value presence over accumulation. It is easy to admire such decisions from a distance, but the lesson is universal. Every choice comes with trade-offs, and every decision is an opportunity to prioritize what truly matters. Modern society bombards us with endless options, all screaming for attention. Social media shows us the lifestyles we could have, the accomplishments we might achieve, the experiences we are missing. Without careful consideration, we are driven by fear of missing out rather than thoughtful pursuit of meaningful goals. This is where the concept of doing less, observing more, and embracing intentional pauses becomes vital. The young crocodile chased small victories, proving himself to others, missing the bigger prize that came to those who waited. In human terms, this translates to avoiding the trap of constant busyness. It's the entrepreneur who pauses to think strategically rather than executing without clarity. It's the student who reflects deeply on a subject instead of rushing through assignments. It's the individual who takes a walk, sits in silence, or meditates, allowing the mind to reorganize and connect ideas in ways impossible under constant pressure. It's also essential to recognize the illusion of having it all. Modern culture perpetuates the idea that we should excel in career, family, personal growth, fitness, hobbies, social life, travel, and finance all. Simultaneously, the reality is that humans are limited by time, energy, and focus. Attempting to excel in every area simultaneously results in burnout, stress, and shallow engagement. True mastery of life comes not from trying to do everything, but from identifying what is most meaningful and dedicating oneself fully to it. Quality, not quantity, defines achievement and fulfillment. Even when pursuing priorities, one must understand the subtle difference between action and motion. Motion is busy work, endless activity that produces little of consequence. Action is deliberate, focused, and aligned with long-term goals. Michael Jordan didn't become a basketball legend by simply showing up. He practiced intentionally, refined his techniques, and consistently improved. Similarly, a successful entrepreneur doesn't simply work long hours. They work smart, focusing on activities that yield meaningful results. Action without thought is wasted energy, just as thought without action is wasted potential. The wisdom of the old crocodile is instructive here. Patience, observation, and timing matter more than constant exertion. Nature operates on rhythms that human beings often ignore. Predators wait for the right moment. Seeds grow according to the seasons. Even the sun and moon follow patterns beyond our control. Humans, in their hubris, often believe they can bend time, force outcomes, or control every variable. The reality is that timing, alignment, and readiness are as important as effort. When preparation meets opportunity, the results are magnified exponentially. Until then, stillness and observation are not wasted, they are necessary. Learning to embrace impermanence and futility also brings freedom. Buddhist traditions teach that attachment to outcomes is a primary source of suffering. The creation and destruction of sand mandalas, the intentional practice of letting go, highlights a profound truth. Life is transient, and clinging to achievements, possessions, or control leads to anxiety. Those who understand and internalize this principle cultivate a sense of peace, even amidst uncertainty. They recognize that life is not a series of checkboxes to be completed, but a stream of experiences to be observed, reflected upon, and integrated. This is also where the concept of wasting time paradoxically contributes to life mastery. What modern culture labels as wasted moments, daydreaming, strolling, listening to music, lying in a field can, actually enhance creativity, resilience, and perspective. These moments allow the mind to consolidate learning, process emotions, and generate insights that rigid schedules cannot produce. Just as athletes need rest to perform optimally, the human mind requires periods of unstructured time to reach peak capacity. Throughout my own life, I've found that deliberate pauses often yield the richest rewards. The olive harvest with my parents, sitting quietly in nature, or simply observing a moment of stillness, has produced insights and clarity that no amount of focused work could replicate. The tension between productivity and presence is not a dilemma to be solved, it is a dynamic to be balanced. Recognizing this balance allows one to pursue ambition without losing sight of life's richness, to achieve without sacrificing awareness, and to live fully without being enslaved to busyness. Opportunity costs, again, is central to this discussion. Every choice, every moment, carries implicit costs. The key is to prioritize consciously rather than reactively. Muhammad Ali Aran chose his daughter over wealth, and in doing so, aligned his actions with his values. We all face similar decisions, though perhaps on smaller scales. Choosing how to spend an evening, deciding between rest and work, prioritizing meaningful conversations over superficial ones. Each choice compounds over time, shaping character, relationships, and ultimately, the quality of life. Modern obsession with busyness often masks a deeper fear. Fear of insignificance, fear of missing out, fear of wasting potential. Social media amplifies these anxieties, showing curated lives that set impossible standards. The antidote is not more action, it is more discernment. Learn to differentiate between motion and meaningful work, between distraction and deliberate engagement, between urgency and importance. Cultivate patience, observation, and reflective stillness. Seek not to do everything, but to do what matters most, fully and intentionally. Finally, the ultimate lesson of these maxims is integration. Balancing ambition with presence, effort with observation, work with reflection. Life is a complex system of choices, consequences, and opportunities. It is shaped not just by what we do, but by how we think, how we observe, and how we choose to experience the passage of time. Maxims serve as guiding principles, tools for navigating complexity, aligning priorities, and making decisions that reflect values rather than impulses. They are reminders to live consciously, to measure impact over activity, and to recognize that even in stillness, there is movement. Even in inaction, there is progress. As I reflect on these principles, I realized that the richest moments of life often emerge from the simplest actions: tucking a walk, observing a sunset, listening to a friend, or spending uninterrupted time with a loved one. These are the moments that cannot be optimized or measured, yet they define the texture and depth of existence. Productivity, success, wealth, they all have meaning only when integrated into a life consciously lived. The real mastery lies in harmonizing ambition with presence, effort with reflection, and action with patience. In the end, life is neither a problem to be solved nor a race to be won. It is an experience to be inhabited fully, with awareness, gratitude, and deliberate choice. Maxims provide a compass, but the journey is yours. Learn to prioritize, to observe, to pause, and to act with intention. Recognize that time cannot be hoarded, wasted, or fully controlled. It can only be lived, and in living fully and embracing both productivity and stillness, busyness and reflection, effort and patience, we find a life not merely survived, but truly mastered.